Hey, this is Victor Antonio, and welcome to another episode of the Victor Report. Thank you for watching. I got this question from one of my YouTube subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, you should be. You're missing out on some great stuff. So anyway, the question comes from Stoika Alexandru. I hope I got that right, Stoika. This is for you. The question he sent was, Victor, if I have three products, let's say a small, medium, large, and he says hamburger or whatever. He wrote that, I didn't say that. For selling, which one should I present first to sell more? Which one should I present to sell more? He says, the customer remembers the first or the last option when you present all three products. In other words, he's asking me, which one does the customer remember? So again, if I have three products, which should I sell first? And again, the question he's having, which one will he remember, right? Now, let's break this question apart. It really is a good question that applies to everyday selling, but we need to know more details. Stoika, I would need to know the following to give you the best advice. The first question I would ask you is, what are you selling? Is it a small item or is it a large item? Let me walk through it slowly. If you are selling a $100 product, let's call it a $100 product, and you can apply that to services as well, but let's say a $100 product, then I'm going to assume that that's a B2C sale, business to consumer sale. In other words, somebody can spend $100. I don't have to get corporate approval. Again, that's an individual buying. B2C, business to consumer, a $100 sale. That's typically a small sale. Now over here on the other side, we have, let's say, a $100,000 product. Okay, that's a bigger one. That's typically a B2B transaction, business to business transaction. Now the reason I kind of cut the pie in the middle, so to speak, is because both require different strategies. So let's go over here to the B2C. If we're talking B2C and it's only a $100 product, what I would do is obviously offer the customer three options. I would put one above the 100. Let's say I want to sell the $100 product, but I would put one above that at 150, and then maybe there's going to be a $75 option, right? Get the idea? Now, in my videos, in my past videos, you know that if you present three options I've shown based on studies, people will tend to mitigate the risk by going towards the middle one. So again, three options. People will say this is high, medium, low. People tend to what? Migrate here to mitigate the risk. Sometimes I don't want to pay that much. Well, maybe I'll need more than that. Let me go with the one in the middle. So, having said that, if it's a small sale, what I would do is present the large item first. In this case, the $150 item. This strategy is known as the door in the face. Let me explain. A door in the face strategy is basically, I'm going to present them with the big one first. Bam, here you go, right? And the customer can say, that's reasonable. But if the customer says, by the way, if they say that's reasonable, great. You got the sale at $150, right? When you only wanted to sell them $100. But if they say, no, that's more than I expected to pay, I say, well, let me go ahead and show you another option that you might want to consider then. And then you can go down to the 100. The reason you would not start at $75 is because once you start at $75, in a B2C realm, that might actually, customer might say, no, I don't want to pay that much. And then you have nowhere to go, right? Because you don't have anything less than $75 and it's hard to upsell them from there. So it's always safest to start with the high and work your way down. That's what I would do it. How I would do it. Now think about it this way. When you walk into to buy, somebody walks into your store and you're selling suits. What do you sell them first, the tie or the suit? Well, you sell them the suit first because if the suit costs $500, a $50 tie as a percentage of the suit looks relatively small. When you go into a car dealership, do you sell them the car mat first or do you sell them the car? You sell them the car because then the car mat cost is almost inconsequential. Get the idea? So you always want to start high and then work your way down, especially in a B2C sale where one person is making the decision. Now, let's move over to B2B. It's a $100,000 product that you're trying to sell. And let's also assume, because I have to assume the context of this in order for this to make sense, is that let's assume that we have never sold this customer before. It's $100,000. I'm trying to get in. Instead of going in with three options, I could have three options, but what I'm going to do is obviously try to sell them the high-end option, but what I really want to do, my goal would be to try to get my foot in the door. This is called the foot in the door strategy, where you try to sell the most basic item first, and then if they like it, you can move it up. See, this is an important strategy because if you're trying to get in and it's an expensive product, remember, customers don't want to risk themselves. In other words, if they don't know who you are and you're selling me a $100,000 product, guess what? I have to get management approval, and I don't know if I want to buy the high-end product right away. I may go for the middle one, again, to mitigate risk, but the safest bet always, if I just want to get in, let's say I'm trying to get a competitor out, I'm just trying to get in, I'm going to go in there and try to present, I'm going to present all three options, but the goal really is to sell the low-end option, right? That's to get my foot in the door. And let's say I have $100,000, that's the $100,000 product, the one that's in the middle. I have $150,000 and I have a $75,000 product. So what I will try to do, the goal in that sales call, will try to get them to buy at least the $75,000, or at a minimum, try the product out. Get the idea? So again, two different strategies. So using three options, whether it's B2B or B2C, makes sense. Okay, always do that. Always offer three options. But again, when you're doing B2C, I would try to go for the high end and then work my way down. If I'm trying to do B2B and I'm just trying to get in the door, now again, assume that I'm trying to get in the door, I'm trying to get a competitor out, I'm an unknown quantity, in other words, entity rather, they don't know who I am, so therefore I'm going to just try to get my foot in the door with the low-end product, the base product, and if they like it, then I'm going to upsell them. Now I'm going to talk about all three products in my presentation to them, but all I want them to do is to what? Buy the low-end item, right? My bottom tier item, just to get my foot in the door. Get the idea? So again, three options, great. What's the sequence? Depend on what you're selling and what the objective is. If I'm selling B2C, guess what? The objective is to try to get as much money as possible. I'm going to go with the high end first and present that one first. If it's B2B, one strategy is to try to go in there, present all three options, but your real intent is to just try to get in the door with the new product. Get the idea? Hope that helps, the clarification. So again, thank you, Stoica, for the question. This is Victor Antonio for another Victor Report. We will see you tomorrow. Take care.